is making a strong effort to get the endorsement from T Swift. Okay? Now, this would be huge for a number of reasons. First of all, as a consequence of the genocide in Gaza, a lot of young voters are not very hyped up about Biden right now, so that might kind of reinvigorate a lot of people who would otherwise not be super engaged. Additionally, the kinds of people Taylor Swift previously endorsed Biden in 2020, yes, she did. And people right now are fighting over it. See, the story here is not just Biden wants the endorsement. Of course he does. Why wouldn't he? The story here is that this time, the right wing is losing their shit. Now, personally, as the lawyer of the GOP, I am encouraging them to continue to wage war against Taylor Swift. In terms of the potential for negative repercussions, this is significantly worse than going after Disney. Disney might make a lot of things that people like, but not a lot of people are diehard fans of Disney, the brand and legal entity. Taylor Swift, on the other hand, is a single personality, and the people who like her. The right wing has been getting increasingly crazy over her. Apparently there's a conspiracy theory. This is just a small part of it, by the way. Apparently there's a conspiracy theory that, like, the Super Bowl is rigged to get Taylor Swift more prominence for the Biden endorsement. Former presidential candidate and MAGA blowhard Vivek Ramaswamy tweeted on Monday that he wondered who's going to win the Super Bowl next month, adding, "I wonder if there's a major presidential endorsement coming from an artificially culturally propped up couple this fall. Just some wild speculation over here. Let's see how it ages over the next 8 months." And that was him responding to Nazi Jack Posobiec. Thinking about when Taylor Swift called out the Soros family in 2019 for buying the rights to her music, and then how she came out as super liberal in 2020. So, the state of the Republican Party. This is like one of the biggest pop stars of our time. Jack Posobiec, a Nazi, JQ posting about whether or not she's been bought by the nefarious Jew, and a person who only dropped out of the Republican presidential race 2 weeks ago saying, "Yeah, I bet they're going to rig the Super Bowl so that her message is louder when she endorses Biden." You know, they, of course, in the largest possible echoes parentheses. This is unironically giving me hope. The only thing that can save us from the Dems' incompetence is the stupidity of the right. Yeah, it's probably not to their benefit. Oh, there's Laura Loomer. The Democrats' Taylor Swift election interference psyop is happening in the open. They're going to use Taylor Swift as the poster child for their pro-abortion GOTV campaign. Stick to singing. MAGA backlash against Taylor Swift gets ugly. Conservative media personalities are raging over a new enemy and one-time Biden endorser, who's, what would she have endorsed him for, like, VP or Senate or whatever? Whose power has never been more undeniable. Taylor Swift. Swift does not yet endorse anyone. The New York Times reported Monday that Biden's campaign is courting her for a 2020 repeat, even jokingly considering the president appear at an Eras tour stop. Unironically, if Biden did that and it went well, that would be one of the most impactful, like, that would be huge. I doubt Taylor Swift would let it happen, but, you know. Meanwhile, the Rolling Stone reported that Trump's allies are closely watching for Swift's move. Trump's allies pledge holy war against Taylor Swift. Did you see this article on Twitter? This title? I saw it everywhere. Trump is already privately grousing that he is more popular than Taylor Swift. According to 3 people familiar with the matter, Trump loyalists working on or close to the former president's campaign, longtime Trump allies and right-wing media, and an array of outside advisors to the ex-president have long taken it as a given that Swift will eventually endorse Biden, as she did in 2020. Indeed, several of these Republicans and conservative media figures have discussed the matter with Trump over the past few months, the sources say. Really weird world that we live in, by the way, that this is something being done in, like, hushed whispers in like, a dark room where a bunch of presidential advisors are like, and what will we do about the Swift endorsement? You know, like, it's very funny. Very powerful woman, you know? Very wacky. The Swifties. Yeah, they're, if Trump wins, even though Taylor Swift endorsed Biden, they're going to dox Trump. White House. Over here in the Swiftie fandom, we love that the right-wingers hate her. Yeah, Taylor Swift is pretty lib-coded, you know, anyway. I have to say, by the way, I don't think this is all some big conspiracy. However, I will say, it is extremely funny that right now, the celebrity power couple that the right wing is terrified of is a white, blonde, blue-eyed pop country singer and a football player. Like, if you took a look at this photo and you just, like, made a snap judgment on who they were voting for, right? You know what I'm talking about, right? Like, Jesus. It's just very funny. It's so opposed to the race that there's nothing they can go on them after, right? You're not gonna, like, as the racists go, they're both white. As the sexists go, like, it looks like a very, like, traditional heteronormative, you know, relationship. Like, it's very solid. It's a very solid, you know, it's like the hydrogen atom. It's very chemically stable. Very, very funny. They're also mad at his boyfriend because he was pro-vaccine. Yeah, it's just, you know, raging against them does not benefit the right wing at all. Can you imagine a person who was not previously committed to Trump, who will move over to Trump because the Trump campaign goes after Taylor Swift? Like, can you imagine that? Vosh, I'm actually curious, why do some leftists dislike Taylor Swift? Probably for the same reason they dislike celebrity in general. I don't know much about her. She doesn't seem that offensive, I guess. I mean, she's like, she's liberal? I don't know. I don't know much about her. The only thing they can attack is that Taylor Swift is not a trad wife. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I don't follow celebrity that much. It's just, it's interesting. It's very, very, very interesting. Failed GOP candidate Jack Lombardi II. Wrote on Twitter that he has, quote, never been more convinced that the Super Bowl is rigged. With all the unneeded and unwanted Taylor coverage of the games, Casey's journey to the Super Bowl, totally scripted, Casey wins, and then later they announce their support for Biden. Coincidental? No. Bought and paid for couple, SMA. Really makes you wonder how we're ever going to move forward as a country when the right wing is this conspiratorial. Like, literally everything. Like, there's no way. Oh, they cannot engage with reality, you know? It's pretty spooky. Who the fuck is buying off Taylor Swift? Well, according to Jack Posobiec, the Jews. Taylor Swift must really be hurting for that cash. Some lefties don't like her because she's a billionaire now. Look, celebrities are always going to be at least somewhat annoying, but as long as they exist, I think it's good that they're the kind of celebrity that fascists get mad about. Look at this desperation. Fox News host Sean Hannity cautioned pop star Taylor Swift on Tuesday against endorsing President Biden as he runs for re-election. Does Taylor realize the guy they want her to endorse is kind of a stumbling, bumbling mess and doesn't have the energy to even give a 30-minute speech, let alone perform a 3-hour concert like she does? Hannity said Swift and Biden are not the show. He also is kind of very creepy. She might want to check out those creepy videos. They're online. This was done like the same day that Trump had like an $80 million settlement to a person he sexually assaulted. Or maybe Taylor Swift just bought into all the lies about conservatives and Republicans, that they are racist and sexist and homophobic and xenophobic and transphobic and Islamophobic. And Republicans and conservatives want dirty air and water and a total ban on all abortion with no exceptions. You know, it sure was easy of him to list off all of these positions because they are just the things that he believes. She for real emitted 17 K tons of CO2 last year alone, which is insane. Oh yeah, I'm sure. She's like a pop star, right? She's flying all over the place.
I do buy wraps in the early, but oh, hey guys.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey man. Hey bro.
Hey, bro.
Hey guys, welcome back. You know what it do.
You know what it do, okay? That's right.
We're back in our butt.
Hey, man, don't do that.
And who are you?
Yeah, I'm the VP of marketing for the RM Brown channel.
Okay, I didn't know that even existed. What's your name?
Take a wild guess, man.
Oh, I think I know. I think I know what your name is.
Ledrom James.
Ding, 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 ding. That's me, Ledron. Ledrom. Is it Ledrom or Ledron?
I think it's Ledrom with an M.
Yeah, that's my name. Ledrom James, VP of marketing for the RM Brown channel.
Okay, and you don't want me to sing Back in the High Life again? Why is that?
Yeah, really great question, man. So we looked at the numbers, and when you do that, viewer retention drops off by about 100%.
Oh, wow, 100%.
Yeah, people just, they cannot stand that. Can you do it real quick?
Yeah, okay.
I'm back in the habit again.
Yeah, it's unbearable, man. I mean, it's just...
Okay, I mean, I guess I have no choice.
That's right, no choice. Shut your trap and never do it again. I'm out.
Okay, there we go. The VP of marketing from the RM Brown channel. Thank you for joining the show.
Let me ask you this. If you knew for certain the baby, would you agree it's a baby?
All right, goofball. Is that a good term to use if it's in a womb? Is that a baby?
I think most people would say fetus.
Probably
Yeah,
fetus.
fetus.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does fetus mean in Latin?
What does fetus mean in Latin? Okay, so we'll start our beautiful journey today with an
All right, goofball.
check. Charlie Kirk's very concerned with babies. When, every time a baby is born, Charlie goes to the hospital and he looks at it and he says,
All right, goofball.
when my baby was born, it was the most beautiful day of my life. I held my baby, I looked in my baby's face, and I said,
All right, goofball.
All right, goofball.
well, yeah, I thought this was worth covering because, oh my god, look at these views. Charlie Kirk kind of struggles with views on YouTube, but this got 250,000. Woo! 250,000 in one day on the At Whatever podcast. The At Whatever podcast, still very popular. Lord knows why. Lord
Praise God.
knows why. But we're kind of relitigating something that's, I would say, a totally closed argument, the abortion debate. It's like, okay, we tried your guys' thing, overturn Roe versus Wade. It was an absolute failure and disaster. What are we arguing about now? But Charlie Kirk does say some funny stuff in here, and he gets absolutely owned over and over again by these girls. So I think Charlie Kirk maybe thought he was going to be able to do his little debate tactics on this, but check, these girls just absolutely like wrecked Charlie the whole time. Here we go. Here's an example.
You're right, Molly. It means a little human.
Yeah.
It's just using fetus is nothing more than a cope for what you know it is. It's a baby, right? So it's just
Obviously not if we're here debating it. I don't think it's as settled
then
as
what, you don't have to use the word fetus.
Oh no, Charlie. Already looking kind of stupid.
It just makes people feel better. It's obviously a baby.
No, I mean, obviously
no.
you wouldn't take a fetus that just has like a heart and like their brain isn't fully formed and be like, that's the same as like a 1 month old.
Yeah.
Like we obviously see differences between development
Okay.
from then and there.
So, but then how about 30 weeks?
That's where it
Why
becomes
is he talking like that too? It's kind of. He's definitely coming off as a very annoying. Okay, watch this interaction. Charlie Kirk just gets totally like befuddled here. Also, there's always this girl in the background of the At Whatever podcast. I don't think she ever says anything, but she's wearing like a hat with a spike on it, just kind of like looking around. I don't know. Is she okay? Somebody check on the spike hat girl.
Praise God.
Okay, here we go. We'll check out this interaction.
So I don't think poverty should give you a death sentence.
Would you say abortion is murder?
Oh, of course, 100%.
Do you think that people who procure abortions, women specifically,
Yes.
a woman who procures an abortion should go to jail for getting one?
Absolutely, yeah. They're the moral equivalent of Auschwitz.
Whoa, Chuck, jeez. Okay, so I don't know, maybe this woman's a lawyer or something because she's asking things in a very precise way. Do you think somebody who gets an abortion should go to jail? Specifically the woman, so she's very careful about this. Charlie Kirk says yes. It's basically the Holocaust, which is, that's great too, Charlie.
Really?
Yes.
I kind of
Millions
want
of
By the way,
millions of women are,
No,
are
not the
basically
women.
the same as like Nazi
Not the women.
death
No,
camp
the
guards.
women are victims. They're lied to. 90% of women do not see an ultrasound before they have an abortion. They have no idea what's happened to them. They're the victims here. It is the abortionists that are doing this. But let me ask you, and I mean this, have you guys ever seen an abortion on a video?
Wait, no, I'm sorry. If women are the victims here, why should they be jailed?
Well, I don't believe they should be jailed. I think
Okay? So whoops on that one, Charlie. I think Charlie Kirk's getting a little nervous. This is a kind of a weird part here. I don't know. Charlie Kirk's a little sneaky, little tricky, little turd, a little puke. But this part, check this out.
Medical.
hold on, Down syndrome.
like
Should we
stillbirths
abort
or-
Down syndrome kids?
No.
Iceland has. They said if you have Down syndrome, you're done. So that's not a new phenomenon. They have gotten rid of Down syndrome. If you have a DNA test of Down syndrome,
Right.
they abort the kid. I think that's cruel and unusual.
Yeah.
Okay, we agree. Good.
I think
Who's they, though, Charlie? Who's they?
there are frivolous reasons to procure abortions, but I don't believe that just because there are frivolous reasons to get them, that means it should be outlawed.
Yeah, so this is kind of the problem with these kind of impromptu little debates, especially with a slippery little piece of turd like Chuck Kirk, a pandering little rat like Chuck Kirk, many call him. Because the way he worded that, it almost sounds like he's saying the state makes them get an abortion if there's a screening and there's a positive test for Down syndrome or whatever. The story is much more complicated, and it brings up an actual meaningful, I don't know, discussion or something. But here's the truth about this. Since prenatal screening tests were introduced in Iceland, in the early 2000s, the vast majority of women, close to 100%, who received a positive test for Down syndrome terminated their pregnancy. So, so what this really kind of shows is like in a population, most parents don't think, for whatever reason, they don't think they're prepared, or maybe there's some kind of calculation that they don't want their child to have a little more challenging life or whatever it is. But there's more information on this that like a talking point robot idiot like Charlie Kirk, doesn't go into. According to the most recent data available, the United States has an estimated termination rate for Down syndrome of about 67%, so that's the vast majority. In France, it's 77. In Denmark, 98. Okay, so here's Charlie Kirk again trying to recover from his previous little, yes, I do think they should go to jail. No, I don't. Here's him trying to recover a little bit. Here we go.
But women do, they ask
They
for
are
it.
doctors. They're medical.
Are you going to just discount the accountability of the women in
My
that
current
decision?
perspective is because the women are not given what is called informed consent.
Right.
That the women should not be penalized. They should not be. They shouldn't be penalized. In fact, they should be given grace from a system that has lied to them and has misled them. They are
Absolutely.
not given the full picture of exactly what's happening to them. Informed consent.
Right, so we should look at them and say,
All right, goofball.
yeah, so what Chuck Kirk just said there proves that he is not competent to take care of a child. He should not be allowed to be the father of a child, yet is for some reason, because it's total and utter bullshit. Across the U.S., more than 2,500 crisis pregnancy centers, we'll get into what that is in a second, provide free services and counseling for women struggling with unplanned pregnancies. They outnumber abortion clinics 3 to 1 nationwide, and as some states shutter clinics after Roe's reversal, that ratio will grow. These are like, I think they're fraud. I think this is fraud, and somebody who's already dealing with something that's like a challenge and not pleasant and not something you want to do, seeking an abortion. These places often trick women. They're like, oh yeah, we did an abortion here, and then they're like, no, say it. I would throw their ass. I would throw all of their ass in jail. That's fraud. To me, that's fraud. You're tricking someone. You're tricking someone who's already dealing with something. Go to jail, you son of a bitch, is you. But face man Chuck Kirk, who already got pantsed by these girls and he's waddling around, no, totally looking like a fool already. Now he comes up, I guess maybe he improv this lie or something that's like, oh, they just don't know. Women just don't know. They don't know what they want, They just don't know Charlie Kirk's beautiful message when his message outnumbers what these women actually want by 3 to 1. So that one doesn't make any sense, face man, you idiot, you fool. Here we go. Check out this part. Oh, we gotta really give it up for this part. Watch this.
Does another person have a right to? Well, technically, because abortion was legal when I was in utero, someone did have a right to my life and body.
Oh, hey.
And my mom chose life. Praise God. So did all your moms.
Praise God.
That's his new thing.
Praise God.
And then he goes like this in his pants. I mean, it must be kind of like stressful or boring or just feel kind of stupid to be Charlie Kirk. Like, he's got to know this, and I can kind of tell that he's like capable. That head's got to contain some kind of a brain. Many say, not me, I would never say that. Like, he does seem to have the capability to like memorize things, but there's just no hope for what he's talking about. Here, I'll read this. This is from like just days ago. From the New York Times. Dobbs, that's the overturning of Roe v. Wade, didn't reduce abortions. The anti-abortion movement needs a new vision. Well, I feel like they're not going to let this one go. Most abortion opponents did not expect the overturning of Roe v. Wade and the passage of state abortion bans to lead to the expansion of legal abortion in much of the United States. This, again, total failure. Total failure. And then if they try to do a federal ban, that's political poison. You're over. You're done. So what do? You go, what do you do now? You go like this. That's literally it. That's what Charlie Kirk's doing, and these girls are just like taking turns dunking his head in the toilet. Okay, it's just funny to watch Charlie try to argue because he's just a lost person Just watch this entire interaction here. Here we go. By the way, this DNA thing that he's gonna bring up, he brings up out of nowhere. Here we go.
Like the vast majority of women say report happiness and being okay with their decision.
I
I'm
find
sure you
that
think
hard
that
to
they're
believe.
lying or they're indoctrinated or
So,
wrong or
but
delusional.
if it's
yeah.
not your DNA, how is it your choice? If
Yeah, see, out of nowhere, you hear one of them say, what? You hear one of them go, what? But here we go, watch.
if it's not your DNA, why is it your choice?
It is.
No,
Because
it's
your
the
child
baby
has
has
to
its
carry
own
the
DNA.
child
It's
to
already in your
gestation.
partner's DNA, and then it forms into
It has its own unique DNA that's not yours.
So he's trying to do a little debate trick. He memorized this, so let's see if it works.
Here, it's part
this
of
is-
your DNA. It's
this is
50-50.
my-
It's half. Oh, so should the man then be able to have veto power over abortion?
Well, the point is the man isn't the one incubating the child.
Oh, no.
So,
I thought it's about
Like,
DNA.
If you
Wait,
get
but I never made the DNA argument. You did. The argument that I
But I thought it. But wait, I thought it's about you were talking about DNA. No, you brought that up.
God, you're too good at this.
Oh God! Listen to this little whisper voice that Chuck is doing. It absolutely makes me want to do one of these. Makes me want to look him in his stupid little face and go like this.
All right, goofball.
I only said that people just don't regret them.
Are you guys familiar with what's happening with the chemical abortion craze that's going on right now?
The pill that
No, not the pill. That's different. I'm talking about where they're mailing chemical abortion packets.
Oh yeah.
Where women are bleeding out in emergency
Speak up, Charlie. Come on.
room visits are up nearly 300%. You know, you guys should look into it. It's a very serious thing.
Why
And
is that?
Because
it's
abortion,
becoming harder to
I'm
get
about to say
abortions?
it's because women don't have access to safe abortion, so they start resorting to these sorts
there's
of
no
methods
such
that are
thing as
way
a safe
dangerous.
abortion.
Nice try, Charlie. What an amazing argument there from Child Kirk. Hey, you know when you make abortions less safe, that they become less safe. Can you guys believe that? Yeah, Charlie, it's because they made them less safe. They're not making them easily available and safe. Oh, right. But yeah, it's kind of interesting though with these abortion arguments that still go on, you know. Nobody ever brings up the point, or I never hear them bring up the point that like, yeah, we tried your way and it's a total failure, abject failure. Even on your own terms. Oh, it's murder, you know. We gotta stop all this murder. But yep, didn't work. Tried your way, went through the whole legal process, failed. And you know you can't do a federal thing. You've even said that on your show, that you need to stop talking about it, blah, 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 blah. So there's really only one other direction they could go in, which is incentivizing people to have children, and that might not even work unless you really do it, you know? Liz Brunig talks about this, where it's like, yeah, just give people tons of resources, you know, if they have a kid. Give them money, you know, give them all kind of breaks or something. Especially if they're low income, give them a bunch of crap, you know? That's really the only thing you do. That's it. But of course, Charlie Kirk can't talk about that.
There's families of victims here today. Have you apologized to the victims? Would you like to do so now?
Mark?
They're here. You're on national television. Would you like now to apologize to the victims who have been harmed by your product? Show them the pictures.
Oh, amazing. Oh, God.
This is probably the biggest news crap of today that I'm recording this. Today, which is yesterday. Ooh, that's some real Chris Nolan crap right there.
Praise God.
Is this Senate hearing on tech crap? Senate hearing on social media tech crap. Mark Zuckerberg's there. Some other lady. They wheel all these guys out, you know what I mean? And they're like, you know, that's basic. I mean, that's not too far from what it is, actually. But the interesting thing here, okay? The interesting thing here is that these social media things, this form of communication, is like kind of unprecedented, you know what I mean? It's a totally new type of publishing or whatever. It's a totally new kind of communication, interaction with the public, exposure, all this stuff. It's totally new. And it requires regulation that should be thought up by, you know, and dealt with by smart people who can approach it in a smart way to limit harm and all this crap, protect people from the bad side of it, enhance the good side. We need smart, rational, logical thinkers to do this, but what we have is utter morons. Losers whack job, con artists, and fools. Okay, here's the awesome guy from Texas, Ted Cruz. He's still around. How does this guy still have a job? Who knows? But here's him doing some, I don't know. Oh, China's trying to invade the kids through TikTok.
It's a separate experience there. What I'm saying is...
But you have a company that is essentially the same, except it promotes beneficial materials instead of harmful materials.
That is not true. We have a lot of science and math content here on TikTok. There's so much...
That's what I watch.
Let me point to this, Mr. Chu. There was a report recently that compared hashtags on Instagram to hashtags on TikTok.
On what?
Trended in the difference.
On what?
TikTok.
On TikTok. I'm a walking cartoon of myself.
Were striking. So, for something like hashtag Taylor Swift or hashtag Trump, researchers found roughly 2 Instagram posts for every one on TikTok. That's not a dramatic difference. That difference jumps to 8 to 1 for the hashtag Uyghur. And it jumps to 30 to 1 for the hashtag Tibet. And it jumps to 57 to 1 to the hashtag Tiananmen Square, and it jumps to 174 to 1 for the hashtag Hong Kong protest. Why is it that on Instagram, people can put up a hashtag Hong Kong protest 174 times compared to TikTok? What censorship is TikTok doing at the request of the Chinese government?
None. Senator, that analysis is flawed. The analysis is flawed. It's been debunked by other external sources like the Cato Institute. Fundamentally, a few things happen here. Not all videos carry hashtags. That's the first thing. The second thing is that you cannot selectively choose a few words within a certain...
Why the difference between Taylor Swift and...
Yeah, I don't know how this guy still has a job. It's kind of like any job, Ted Cruz. Like, he should not even work at Chipotle, I think. And literally, he's incompetent. He's an idiot. But, we've seen this before. Like, this is it really is like professional wrestling stuff. Like, almost literally. They'll bring out the TikTok CEO. That's this guy. I mean, this is what these people do. They'll bring out, they've done this before. They bring out the TikTok CEO, and they'll be like, "You're a Chinese spy, and have you ever been a member of the Chinese Communist Party?" and all this stuff. And they don't seem to understand that this guy's not Chinese. He's from Singapore, first of all, and even that, he went to Harvard. He's like just a business guy. He's just your typical Harvard business CEO guy. But they love to bring this guy out, pretend he's Chinese, and be like, "You're a spy." That's what they do. That's what these people do. But Ted Cruz is doing a thing here where he's kind of implying with very flimsy and stupid evidence that TikTok is like a Chinese spy app. You know, that Americans don't actually want to see stupid things like, "Oh, I made a soup out of hot Cheetos. And hey, if you climb on top of a bunch of stuff, that's funny." Americans hate seeing stuff like that. It's not them generating this content, it's China. And that China is censoring stuff from history with flimsy evidence that doesn't make any sense. And I don't know, this is supposed to be a hearing that's kind of about a bill that they're trying to pass, ostensibly to protect kids on these apps. And I guess Ted Cruz thinks that kids are like trying to find political material on TikTok, but China's censoring it. This is what people are watching on TikTok, and the people have spoken. The people are generating this. Somebody puts a microphone next to a dog, and the dog's sleeping, and the dog goes like this, and it wakes up the dog. That's what people are watching. That's China's plan.
Your platform. Why should your platform not be banned in the United States of America?
Oh, wow.
You are owned by a Chinese communist company, or a company based in China.
Yeah. Weird that they've been saying this for like years now, and just TikTok's still around. It's almost like this guy's bullshmitting. But this hearing is supposed to be all around a bill that's supposed to protect children from dangerous crap on the internet. But these goofballs go on and on. You know, the epic bacon senator, he's like, "Hey,
If a dog goes out into the rain, then you
can't lie to me. You know, like he's doing that whole kind of thing. He's going like this.
Call it cracky. Violent crime.
It's a bunch of nonsense, but I wanted to look at the actual bill they're trying to pass, you know, because we hear about this all the time, like, oh, they're gonna do something about social media. Social media is this huge problem. I wanted to get kind of a really, like, critical look at this, a real critical perspective, and I found a lady who wrote a really detailed article about this. Her name's Dana Boyd. I don't know too much about her, but I thought this article was pretty good. It's on Medium. It says this bill, which is called COSA, isn't designed to help kids. Oh my God. Congress is using kids to hold big tech accountable. Kids will get hurt in the process. Oh my God. So the first thing that she points out, she links to the Pink News, which is like an LGBTQ website. They do news about it. And listen to this headline. This bill, the Kids Online Safety Act, COSA, will, quote, protect, unquote, children from trans content, Senator Marsha Blackburn admits. A Republican senator has admitted the Kids Online Safety Act, which is currently being passed through Congress, could target trans content. Uh-oh. Okay, I think she kind of nails it in this article. This kind of, you know, I was like, man, she kind of gets it. Social media and technology connect young people to information and people. They can absolutely be exposed to content that is triggering, that makes you go like this. But some of the worst content out there comes from the news. Should we be blocking young people's access to information about wars, climate disasters, and death by police? The problem is not technology causes harm. The problem is we live in an unhealthy society where our most vulnerable populations are suffering because we don't invest in resilience or build social safety nets. That's what's going on here. I think she's right on this. That's also why it looks like there's a bipartisan thing going on here. Because it's like, instead of addressing the real problems, you know, that they're shoving these young people through like a rat race, chipping away at social safety nets, rolling back child labor laws, all this crap that we're seeing, they're like, oh no, it's tic-tac. Most people under the age of 26 years old in the United States do not have access to mental health services without involving their parents. And even if you can find a therapist, good luck these days, the likelihood of having sustained affordable access to mental health services is minimal. Young people cannot address mental health struggles alone. They need help. We need to ensure that young people have access to affordable, high-quality mental health services. This is a critical safety net. They don't talk about that, you know? But I get it. Fundamentals aren't politically practical. I think she's exactly right there. They're trying to shift the blame here. And everyone can agree that going after big tech is a good idea. It's way easier than doing the collective work or taking the collective responsibility to address the problems our children have. This is where she gets into the bill. Too bad increasing tools for parental surveillance, blocking young people from tech, or empowering attorneys general, that's the important part, to blame tech for content they don't like won't actually help young people. I think she's right there, and that's one of the things that this bill is going to do, and why that lady was saying, oh, we're going to be able to ban trans stuff on here. Right, guys? Is because whatever state, you know, and a lot of these lunatic red state morons are going to, that's what they're going to do. They're just going to be like, we can't, you know, and that's what they're going to use it for. They're just going to use it as a little political... Pendejo! Yeah, I don't know. You guys puts below. You guys puts below. I know this is a little bit more of a serious episode, but I'm interested to hear what you think.
I can't say that I'm surprised.
Oh, you're not? Oh, good, great. Hey, I won't, man.
That's right, guys. Final segment of the day.
A crystal flute.
Check. A quick
crystal flute.
Check.
I'm not here to play stupid games with a crystal flute.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't know. I thought you were. Okay. Sorry, man.
I can't say that I'm surprised.
We get it.
The Christian veteran who beheaded satanic statue at Iowa Capitol has been charged with a hate crime.
Okay.
Now, I understand it, on the surface, why he was charged with a hate crime. I don't agree with the idea of hate crime.
Hold on. Let me read this thing you're doing a segment on. Christian vet who beheaded satanic statue at Iowa Capitol is charged with a hate crime. Oh, covering the big topics on the
Crystal Flute
Network. Okay, this is kind of just a fun little stupid one, you know what I mean? But I read this story, and there's this thing called the Satanic Temple. They're kind of like a, what is it, the Satanic Temple? I don't know, whatever it is. Yeah, the Satanic Temple. The
Praise God.
Temple. And they seem like goofballs to me. They're just kind of more like a, what, like they're sort of like a free speech group whenever there's like religious statues or some kind of religious crap. Whenever there's some kind of public Christian or religious crap, they'll go in there and put like a devil or something, you know. And it's a little troll because they're like, well, look, you know, it's the First Amendment. You have to treat all religions equally. You know, you're putting your religious crap, so we'll put our religious crap as a troll. You know what I mean? And this guy fell for it. He fell for it, you know. But Tim Pool's an interesting one because he's a free speech guy, First Amendment, and this is all that this is. So he's got to say, oh, well, you know, it's First Amendment. They're putting their religious crap, the Satan crap. So, First Amendment, you got to respect it. You know what I mean? Do you think he's going to do that with his audience?
The fascinating thing, however,
I bet it's fascinating.
is the shift this country has gone through. Where it would have been unthinkable 20 years ago to put up a satanic display.
All right.
My friends, I was listening to the song by Panic at the Disco. What's it called? I
no
write
one
sins,
knows.
not tragedies, or whatever.
Who
I
cares?
chime in with the haven't you people ever heard of closing the goddamn door? No, you know that song? On YouTube, they censored the word God.
Right.
This is like, how long ago was that? 15, 20 years ago? 20 years ago, probably, 2004.
Get on with it.
You could not say goddamned in a YouTube video. Now, I apologize to my Christian friends for...
Oh, okay, so the good old days when they would censor out goddamn. Okay, so far so bad.
But herein lies the challenge. There are certain things that are morally beneficial,
right,
factually, logically, and socially beneficial from Christianity.
Yep, irrelevant.
And Judaism.
Yep.
That you don't see with wokeness in the far left.
Right.
The ideas represented by the Satanists. They try to play it like it's libertarian, but they've gone so woke. And now they entertain authoritarian crackdown. And that exemplifies the
so free speech doesn't apply, right? Yep, kind of stupid, right, moron? Okay, here we go. Here's the classic Tim Pool video moment where he totally, like, dunks on himself. Here we go.
They've gone full woke. And now they entertain authoritarian crackdown. And that exemplifies the idea of evil so much.
Absolutely.
Offering you freedom, free will, choice, pleasures.
Right.
And then the moment you say yes, they beat you to a pulp and become full-scale authoritarians.
Exactly.
Whereas the inverse has happened with Christianity.
Right. Do you remember the story that you're talking about?
That's the guy.
Right?
Yeah.
That you literally just minutes ago brought up and read?
Come on,
It's like an exact symbolic version of what you're talking about. Some people put up their religious crap, so some other people put up their religious crap, and your guy destroyed the other people's religious crap.
Guy?
Yeah, right? He's kind of authoritarian, right, moron? Stupid? Okay, guys, new segment. Correction of the day. So if you watched yesterday's show, I was talking about one of my favorite moments from the British office. You know, I'm not one of those British office snobs. Okay, so lay off my ass. But it does have one of the funniest moments. I was talking about this yesterday where Ricky Gervais gets an earring because some cool guy in the office has an earring. And I thought the scene went like this. Some lady asked him, hey, how long have you had that earring? It's bleeding. And he goes, long time, baby. But I had it wrong. I was being super confident and super annoying about it. He actually says, too long, baby. which is way fun. Which is way funnier. I digged all over for this clip and I couldn't find it, but then somebody on the Chinese Communist X found it, so I'm gonna play it right now.
That's an earring.
Whatever, get over it.
How long have you had that?
Too long, baby.
Is it bleeding?
Really stings. Is it
an old one that you've
yeah,
had?
and I had to push really hard at the time, and it was sort of like...
Did they heal over?
It had healed over.
Well, there we go, guys.
Hey, man. Terrible show today, man.
Oh, no, it's the VP of Marketing at the R.M. Brown channel. What did I do wrong this time?
Well, where to start, man?
I do my raps every day, all night, and then I play.
Oh, my God, it's Ben Shapiro.
That's right, moron. It was me the whole time.
Oh my god, that's how you laugh?
I'm your boss. I was secretly your boss the whole time, you little turd. You do what I say.
Okay, Benjamin, I will do what you say. Well, guys, hope you're doing good. The Quaments is still up. I will be answering it this weekend. So if you haven't got a Quament in, do it. We'll do a long-ass Quament show. You're driving around, listening to my ass drone on about God knows what, this and that. I love the recommendations. If anybody has, you know, oh, here's some grindcore that I like. Here's some witch house that I wish to. Here's some jungle and bass that I like. All this crap, you know. Put anything you want in the comments, because I love reading it. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Zoom in. Bye-bye.
Union President Sean O'Brien accused of having publicly humiliated black and Hispanic workers. Union pays $2.9 million settlement in racial discrimination lawsuit. Yo, guys, we're doing it. We're getting the white working class back. This is it. We're going back to 1920s labor activism, where you have guys who simultaneously want to Molotov their boss's house, but are also extremely racist. Let's go! It really is the 20s all over again. It's time. Remember this guy? The Teamsters Union guy. This is the guy who was gonna have a fist fight with that one senator. Remember? That Bernie Sanders broke him up. This guy. Yeah, reject modernity. We're returning to an earlier era. Okay. 13 former black and Hispanic employees of the Teamsters International Union filed a racial discrimination lawsuit against the union and its president, alleging racial discrimination over their firings after O'Brien assumed the helm in March 2022. Dude, his name is even O'Brien. This literally is the most, like, Great Depression, turn of the century, like, militant white labor activism in the East Coast. It's flawless. We are perfectly recreating. We are reconstructing. Literally, just send this to any class reductions. This is class reductionism, like epitomized to an almost cartoonish level. It's perfect. The lawsuit was filed in D.C. last February, alleging violation of D.C. Human Rights Act. Teamsters asked its executive board to meet the Senate, denied any wrongdoing. The lawsuit claimed that rather than maintaining or increasing diversity at Teamsters, IBT, the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, fired more than a dozen people of color and turned the organizing department from a diverse department into a majority white department. I mean, without being familiar with the specifics of the case, I can't really rule in on whether or not it's correct. You know, I don't know if just like, you know, I get if the judges ruled as they did, or the jury, or however the case was handled, then I guess I'll just side with that without knowing much in the way of the specifics. Wasn't the Teamsters effectively a wing of the mob for like 20 years? All good unions are basically just the mob, okay? Anyone who tells you otherwise is a fake progressive. They're a revisionist. They're a revisionist, much in the way that I revise how words are pronounced. I'm so tired. The way a union is just supposed to be a worker-oriented substitute for a mob running up protection money in like a borough of New York City or Chicago or Philadelphia or whatever. And if it's not doing that, then it's not a real union, okay? If people looking to reform the union don't regularly go missing and then turn up 2 years later at the bottom of a river, it's not a real union. Meanwhile, Teamsters leadership meeting with Trump today. Damn, if Teamsters ends up endorsing Trump, that would be insane. This on its own doesn't mean anything, though. In all likelihood, Donald Trump is just looking to undercut Biden on union support, and Teamsters would be a big win, so they want to talk with him. Presumably, even if they were going to support Biden, the Teamsters union wants to at least hear out Trump in case he has something to offer them. But this in and of itself does not indicate that Teamsters is going to side with Trump. If your union leader doesn't look like Everard Clare. Yeah, exactly. Here we go. Pictured. The guy who's fired 78 people of color from the staffing department until it is more pure white than the most like radicalized white nationalist militia in the United States. Hasn't Biden been like the most union friendly? God, I actually am union friendly though, or have we just been memeing? No, he has been. Yeah, I mean at least in living memory. Yeah. It's our God-given right to tell people it would be a shame if your daughter had an accident. Yeah, that's how all union negotiations should go, you know? The board of directors said that the corporate rep to talk to the union leader. They've got a bunch of arguments and deals, and the union's argument is just, be a shame if something happened to your family, and just like repeating that until they get what they want. It works. Pushed away. Bosh, I'm a black priest laborer. I've been at the bar for this for years because I tell them how much people. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah. So I'm sorry, black 310 laborer, Mr. Irwin, but your racial oppression is the price we have to pay for I'm sorry. Listen, okay, the class reductionists are right. You can either get woke, third wave feminist, intersectional, girl boss corporate managers who will, vote against raising the minimum wage, but by God will they make sure it's equal across race and gender. Or you can get the most militantly pro-worker union organization ever, but we also have to bring back like Ku Klux Klan era racism. And those are actually, that's all politics. The political compass is bullshit because there's like 4 squares through. It's a line and there's 2 directions, okay? It's militant labor activism at the expense of racial equality, or equality for all at the expense of labor organization. And that's it. That's all you get. Which way, Western man? There are no better options. The future will just be us oscillating between these 2 positions forever. Determination set back the organizing department's goals of effectively recruiting organizing non-whites, alleged, in favor of bolstering the majority white membership and leadership of the union. In total, Teamsters terminated 72% of the department staffers who were people of color. Holy shit. Okay, yeah, man. Unless there was some like wildly coincidental shit going. Oh my God, 72% of the POC department staffers, while firing only 28.5% of white staffers. Teamsters then proceeded to hire new staff members who were 73.33% white. God damn. That's pretty wild. The lawsuit also claimed O'Brien publicly humiliated the plaintiffs in the case, claiming they were fired because they were bad apples and were lazy in their work. Is that public humiliation to bitch about people you fired? I guess maybe, yeah. It's professional if you fire somebody to go like, I don't think that we, our values, we didn't work to get great. We hope they pursue other opportunities. Yeah, I don't know. The bad apple thing too. The process like creative racial shit. People fire someone for being a bad apple. Being lazy is one thing. I guess it's really vague. Like, lazy? Okay. I mean, you're all human. You're all that's the whole point. But like, bad apple? Like that, I don't know. Sounds like property to me. Yeah, it kind of does. I don't know, boss. I've never heard bad apple used in racist. No, it's not that bad apple is like a racist term. It's that it's such a weird, nebulous, vague thing to say about why you fired a bunch of people who were like very majority POC. You know, like it's just a very odd. You know, it's not just that it's unprofessional. It comes to, okay, you know how one of the ways that racists will like codify their racism and mask it is by couching all their criticisms of non-white people in such vague language that you don't even know what the fuck they're talking about. It's like when people call black guys like aggressive or black women aggressive and they haven't like done anything. Like, the term aggressive doesn't necessarily mean anything racial in and of itself. It's just the term aggressive. But, like, it's like this weird, yeah, weird moralizing language, you know? I don't know. It's just weird. Weird vibes. O'Brien has been facing criticism from members of the Teamsters recently over his decision to meet with former president and Republican presidential primary frontrunner Donald Trump. They cited Trump's long record of being anti-union and his prejudicial behavior and comments towards women, minorities, and the LGBTQ community. The lawsuit claimed the workers had no history of negative performance reviews or disciplinary issues and were not given justifications for their firings from Human Resources. Rather, only a note telling them their services were no longer needed. Yeah, that's pretty weird. In or around April 2022, Mr. O'Brien gave a speech in California and said that he got rid of the bad apples from the organizing department, that he fired people who were lazy and didn't do anything during the COVID-19 pandemic. Yeah, that's pretty weird. Don't forget that lazy has always been used racially. Oh, sure. It's just funny, like, in a union to do that, you know? Yes, they can, Orbital. 20 of 36 staffers were terminated from the Teamsters organizing department, 16 being people of color and only 6 not people of color. The Teamsters did not immediately respond to requests for comment. Interesting. Well, we'll see how things go, I suppose. That looks pretty bad, though. Is this an American thing, or are unions in other countries racist, too? I'm mostly talking about American history here, but I'm sure we can safely assume that unions are all racist. No, I'm not a class reductionist. The statements that I made were jokes. Historically, unions have been hampered by racism, but there's also been a lot of very militant anti-racist advocacy from unions and within unions. Obviously, the most aggressive anti-racists in American history have also been advocates for labor rights, you know? So, yeah. Another great example, by the way, of how racism hurts white people. Even up to this day, studies show that non-white people are more likely to be willing to unionize in ununionized fields than white people. And one of the things that prevents white people from being willing to unionize is they don't trust or like their non-white coworkers. I.e., as it was 100 years ago, the specter of racism convinces white people to make decisions that are not in their own interest, and thus they are hurt and dissuaded from labor organizing because they distrust non-white people. Is this just one union? It's the Teamsters union. I mean, it's a very big union. How would we fix this? I am not satisfied with racist unions, even with pre-socialism. Oh, la-di-da. Oh, I'm sorry. Are racist unions not good enough for you? Oh, my apologies. Okay, perhaps we can serve you some champagne and caviar while we discuss these highfalutin, non-racist unions you're so obsessed with. I mean, I only hope you'd be willing to talk about the peasant like me on a subject. So just shut up. You will take your racism. No. Sorry, we're doing bits today. I do. It's the sleep deprivation.
I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm gonna be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
Well, that's.
Finally. Oh, my work is done. Hey, Chad, did you see Charlie Kirk went on like a racist screed the other day while he was trying to talk about like diversity, equity, and inclusion? And when it happened, he scared himself by how racist he actually was. After vocalizing his genuine opinions on black people, he was like, he got scared by how racist it sounded. It was crazy, dude. He said something racist and went, that's not me. That's not me. The left made me racist. It's crazy, dude.
It's obviously for a loved one. So anyway, gonna do everything I can to avoid a hospital. So go to twc.health/CJ. The promo code CJ saves you 10% at checkout. What do you get? Well, the wellness company is building up.
Oh, is this that America First healthcare? So basically, Republicans don't want to use Obamacare because a black person made it, and so they've started to make their own AF care, like America First care, Trump care type stuff, where they're able to like have like God-fearing patriot doctors and not those cringe left-wing doctors instead. It's so weird.
All right, topic number 2, thematically, I think we can open with clip. So we have clip 115.
Welcome aboard, folks. We are very proud to share that your pilot is the most diverse pilot on...
No Bud Light seats, gayness. In case of emergency, grab your homosexuality.
She is a 3'2" transgender pansexual Native American man who identifies as a 6'tall Korean woman. She volunteers to help reach the controls. You will want to buckle up as her epilepsy is often triggered by the flashing lights in the cockpit. Remember to keep a whisper volume level, as she may have to consult instructional videos as a refresher during the flight. Now, can we get a big cheer for diversity?
No, everybody grab your transgender penis.
Final destination. Plane explodes. Everyone dies.
And then he then gets back to being in the terminal, if I remember the movie.
Yeah,
correctly,
yeah.
right?
But
'Cause it's
then
like a forward backward kill.
Yeah, yeah. It's almost like it was all his imagination. Yeah. You're right. It was like all in his head. So true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good
But
for you.
what a! I don't think I saw more than that scene. I just remember that so vividly because it happens and then he goes back to the terminal. But who wants to take it? This is what's going on. So
this was a movie. They added all the like, all like the cultural, like and the video and like the voiceover. But the clip itself was from it was from Final Destination. They just edited it.
United Airlines. Do we have the Kirby clip? Can we get to this? Andrew, I want you to riff on this from a PR perspective. You had a beautiful take on it earlier. And we have the Kirby.
So just while they get it, so the reason, of course, it's in the news is people have dug up remarks that United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby made in, I think, 2021. But he says, you know, United Airlines is very committed to making sure that 50% of their pilots are women.
I want to get
color.
that. Yes. And by the way, just Andrew had 3 really good takes. First, from a PR perspective, of just how the questions were asked. And then,
they asked Kirby?
Remember, just like the framing. It's kind of, and I want you to just play this tape.
Find
and
the
then I
tape,
want you to walk people through.
Kirby has pivoted into a conservative talking head pundit on Fox News. That's crazy.
Just because
Greenland must be out of jobs.
Kind of standpoint. Let's play cut 93, please.
How is diversity and diversity targets working into the Aviation Academy?
We have committed that 50% of the class of the classes will be women and people of color. Today, only 19% of our pilots at United Airlines are women or people of color. And by the way, from all the data I've seen, that's the highest of any airline in the country.
White males don't just dominate in the cockpits, also in the C-suite at United Airlines.
Well, look, at United, I'm proud of the diversity that we actually have in our C-suite. I think if you look around corporate America, one of the things we do is for every job when we do an interview, we require women and people of color to be involved in the interview process.
So I just want to say, white males dominate on the posts of thought crime.
Not a diverse.
We have 100%. We have a diversity problem here on Thought Crime.
Yeah, we do. Our demographics here exactly match the demographics of the men who wrote the Constitution.
So Andrew, just riff on this because the very least.
Yeah, and that's why we had to amend it so many times.
Here is not even the CEO answering the question; it's the Axios propagandist, the way he asks the question.
No, this is why we say that the media is the enemy of the people, because the way he asks these questions, he's assuming that this value system that's completely, you know, arbitrary, it's just the next new thing. So he's assuming the virtue in his line of questioning. So he's demanding that the respondent, in this case Kirby, CEO of United, fits into this moral framework that he's just established in the question. You could call it leading the question. Yeah, I mean, but the way that, imagine Musk pushing back on that.
So here, he didn't ask him like a leading question. They were talking about diversity. And he said, how does diversity play into United? Like, how does diversity manifest at United? And then he goes, oh, we do this, that, and the third. They already have an initiative in place. Unless you think that the guy behind the scenes is like, N-word, F-word, N-word, F-word, T-word, F-word, sheesh! And he starts saying some slurs about Mexicans, and then says sand N-word too. Like, they're jamming with their racism. Like, in the United headquarters, they're like reading, they're like, before you have to sign in, you have to recite, you have to recite to your passcode the Wikipedia list of ethnic slurs into the camera as it scans your eye, and that's the only way that you're allowed to be able to get into your desk, okay? But this interviewer was like, how do you think about diversity? And they're like, oh, I forgot if people care about that. And then like thought of a way to make it seem like they cared about diversity. What are you talking about? They already had, what leading question? Slur.
That'll get your heart pumping. Basically be like, well, your question's BS. But instead you have this weak, effeminate, turns out drag queen CEO.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Doesn't push back on the premise, doesn't reject the premise at all. Instead,
who cares? Parrots
it back, and there's a striking moment here. 19% of United's pilot corps is minority or women.
Now, no coincidence, 19% of their flights are never on time.
Oh, is that what that video was? This is like United's president or something who likes to have fun in their spare time? I don't know, dude. How do you spend your spare time? I don't know, like shooting pictures of migrants crossing the border? How do you spend your spare time? Rape practice? Dude, quick draw with the slurs. You think he's in his training room for CPAC next time? You know, he's in the training room, you know? He's at CPAC, it's just like the simulations. He has to keep his hands in his pocket, and then when the buzzer goes, okay, around him there are like pop-ups, and they're all of like minorities, and then he has to turn to the one that pops up and point at them and say the right slur. All right, so it's like how do you spend your spare time, man? Some people have fun. Yeah, some people like performing. Some people like playing basketball or sports. Some people like painting. Just because you don't have, just because the only thing you do in life is hate on people who enjoy theirs, doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Yeah, the slurring range. They're looking for slurs like they're in Sakamoto days, man. Shit's crazy. The slur slinger. He hitting slurs faster than anybody this side of the Mississippi. The Arizona Klansman with the big iron on his hip. Arizona Klansman with the big iron on his hip. Big iron on his hip.
Coincidence, 19% of their flights are never on time.
Negroes, am I right? Women. Oh, they can't drive. Oh, now you're making them fly. Oh, look how that worked out. Hey. Mexicans, eh? I thought they could jump, but now they can fly. Who can see that? Hey. Oh, I knew I was on a United flight because my plane had a turban on it. Hey. Why do people say conservative comedy is so bad? You ever think, I'm being silenced? I'm being silenced. Hey, what's the deal with it? Listen, having more minorities on the plane may actually fix the deal with airline food. You ever think about that? We need to start thinking, okay? We can fix the deal with airline food. Finally, can you imagine instead of getting like dry crackers and like a stale sandwich, you get like some curry, you get some butter chicken? Holy, can you imagine a square of fresh baked macaroni on the plane? Sheesh. Can you even imagine on your flight attendant offers you braised pork belly over white rice? Good golly.
Correlation without causation. That's ready. Yes.
That's crazy. That joke was so bad. Him and his racist bros didn't even laugh. Dog, you got the whole squad laughing. Look at that face. Bro thought that was the funniest joke in the world. He's cheesing like a rat.
Let's get a riff on that again. So here's the trade. Going from 19% to
Negroes, am I right?
I'm still laughing as well. Going from 19% to 50 in 1 year. That he said our class in 2023 in 1 year is actually impossible. And I think Blake, you made this point. Are there even enough women or minority potential pilots out there that want to be a pilot?
Probably. Yeah, probably. And here's the thing, once again, He's saying 50%. Like they're going from nine. He's mixing up the two numbers. He's too stupid to actually understand what he's even mad about right now. Right now, there are 19% of pilots who are women or minorities in United. Their next class of pilots, they want to have 50% as women or minorities. That's not. But one class is not 50% of United's pilots. It's probably like 1%, maybe 3%. The new class, not the pilots. Bro's actually confused.
Why are they gonna find these people? The funny thing, because where's the supply gonna come from? There's a diversity push in literally every industry in America. They're like, okay, we need to have more, women and people of color physicists and pilots, and finance dudes, film directors,
amazing,
and
surgeons.
But we can't also it's
I hope so.
that they're more common than the population in professional sports or hip hop or any of these industries. And
listen, dog. If you think you can beat LeBron James in like a basketball game, go ahead.
Scoured the area.
Go ahead. I don't think he could win. He already lost to his hairline.
This is the last entrance
but I
to the Lambda
personally
complex.
just think
every other has been
that if
sealed
you
off to
really
contain
think
the
you can
invasion.
jump higher and slam ball harder than LeBron James, then go
We drew
ahead.
straws to see who would stay behind.
Nobody's stopping you from going to NBA tryouts.
I drew the short one.
My man, that's the thing. There are a lot of white people in the NBA. I really don't know what to tell you. But if you think you could do better, go ahead. And a lot of the NBA is based off of your genetics anyways. Being a pilot has not really much to do with your genetics at all. Being a like a basketball player does. If you're taller, it's just easier for you to reach the net.
Then we don't want that to go away. And you need only a very basic brain here to do the math in your head and say this doesn't work out. And then, if you just go back to the source, okay, well, like, what's the intake from this?
Okay, but you have a broken brain, so obviously you come out with the wrong answer.
Well, the reason that pilots are all male is to become a pilot is hard.
Male love flying.
A ton of hours in the air to become a commercial airline pilot.
A lot are veterans.
Yes. So you get people who either are veterans, and those go through a pretty tough winnowing process, or people who care enough about it and have the resources to be hobby pilots at a high amount of time.
Or their parents take the flight school when they're 16, 17, or 18 years old.
Exactly.
Middle class society.
And so,
okay.
you have to be careful saying that because soon we'll get Congress just allocating $50 billion to the women in flight program to pay for underprivileged people to just get flight hours, and then they'll just be crashing small planes all over the place.
Can poor people not fly planes? What the f are you talking? Oh, poor people have the gene. They have the non-flyy gene. What the f are you talking about? Why in the world would giving people the opportunity to fly planes who are interested be any more likely to crash a plane than like Kyle, whose parents were surgeons, who does nothing but got interested in being a pilot one day and then went to pilot school only to drop it because he's a fail son. Like come on, what are you talking about, man? Women be piloting. Women, just be honest that you just don't like the idea of your life being in the hands of women in your age. Come on, just say it. You think he gets scared when a Somalian is his Uber driver or something? You think so? He's like, oh, Joe Biden let the Negroes drive.
But I think this is the red pill of the red pill. Every issue where anyone who's remotely normie in my orbit goes 10 out of 10, it's the flight one. I have to be honest.
Or like surgeons.
Surgeon and flight are the top two, where it's like no one really cares when it's HR managers. No one cared when it was, just kind of paper shufflers or even engineers. But now when it's like, wait, hold on a second. You're going to remove my appendix and you're a black lesbian.
Yeah.
Well, you bring these.
Did you have to go through the same?
I say this all the time.
When I get on an airplane, I want my pilot to be like, "Hi, this is Chad." Maybe like a little bit of a southern accent.
Bro's actually just racist. He's like, when I get on a plane, I want to know a white person is at the is at the wheel, dude. Is at the yoke. I need to know. Listen, they call her the yoke because it's all over the whites. Am I right? Come on. come on, boy. You need to understand. Come on. And then you're like, wouldn't you be scared if you knew some Negro had your life in its hands? Like, come on. Like, a woman? Really? We all know that they just pick random women off the... Honestly, honestly, probably what happened is that they stopped a white person from flying the plane, and there was just some woman sleeping out on the street. She was homeless, and they're like, finally. And then they just like, what they did is they like cartoonishly like put a piece of cardboard under her like she was a bug, and then like picked her up slowly and then walked her over to the pilot seat and then just like dropped her right there, and she goes, huh? Slapped the headphones on her and said, "You are our pilot." That's how, just so you know, this is how DIE works. This is how diversity, equity, and inclusion policies work. It's just like we all know only white people can do things. So if like a minority, only white males can do things. So if like anybody who's not a white male is doing honestly anything, it has to be witchcraft. It has to be witchcraft. I mean, if you're not a white male, you're kind of like basically not a human if you think about it. Shut up. I hate you people so damn much. Listen, if I hop on the plane, what I want, I'm honestly hopping right off if my pilot doesn't decapitate a plushie of Donald Trump before they start the plane. Because like you bite the head off and then he goes, "Ah, the whites," and then they throw the stuffing, and the stuffing scurrying like flying across the plane is kind of like how white people will soon be destroyed in America. And so that's what I really like. I honestly do get on the plane if that doesn't happen. I get really scared. Like, what if a white person is there, you know? What if in the middle of like the flight, he starts to think about how he hates how, you know, women are allowed to have rights, and then he just, you know, I don't know, he like flies a plane and like he stops the plane, he just parks on the freeway and goes to shoot up a Walmart. Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, I just get a little worried. Oh no, dude. I get scared if like a white man is my pilot. Like, what if he kills himself mid-flight? I'm sorry. Like, come on, what if he crashes into a mountain or something because he's too busy like tweeting, because he's too busy texting on 4chan? I'm just saying, I get a little worried. JK. Yeah, what if dude's high on opiates by the time he hits up the plane? I mean, come on. Pass granted. Thank you. I can say that because I have white friends. They let me say it. They give me the C word pass. A white guy has crashed into a mountain on purpose. That is true. You know, the craziest thing about it is that even though, despite making up 98% of all pilots, white pilots make up 100% of plane crashes in the United States on just like normal commercial airliners. It's kind of crazy if you think about it. And that's a true stat, just so you know. There's never been a black person or a woman to crash a plane in a commercial airliner in the United States. It's never actually happened.
Yeah, this is my 31,000th hour. I'm kind of bored, honestly. Yeah, I could do this in my sleep. But exactly. I want just like cookie cutter, like, yeah, this is so easy to me. I don't want LaQuisha James.
They have that like
up,
pilot voice,
and she's just like, "Hi, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm sure that you will know it.
Pray for me."
And the truth is,
what? Yeah. I think this is why we say racism, not only is it learned, but it's actually a mental illness. These people are genuinely deranged. I'm telling you, Red. Like, look at that smile, dude. Like, this was funny to him. He's like, so true. I want a white guy on the mic to be like, dude, I'm about to fall asleep right now. Not a black person to be like, hey y'all, what are you saying? Do you hear yourself?
Open the gates for you.
And then they come out, and these people will say like this and then be like, dude, I'm not racist. I promise I'm not racist, man.
Wrangled since the incident.
Their racism confuses me. Don't worry, Charlie's racism confuses himself. Just wait till we get to it. It's crazy.
This is a creation that the left wanted.
And they think you can't say anything about it because they'll call you a racist. This is where we really have to take the gloves off and say,
we gotta get more racist guys.
Get in the way of
people's safety at 35,000
They're like,
feet.
it's offensive to call someone a diversity hire. You guys are the ones who legally require diversity hires.
Yes.
You are the ones who say, we need to hire people based on skin color. If we didn't hire people based on skin color, this wouldn't happen because every pilot would be qualified.
So here's the crazy thing that a lot of these people just simply don't understand. And you may hear stupid people in your life say something similar. The easy retort is, do you have any proof that these people are held to lower standards when they get their licenses when it comes to being a surgeon or like an electrician or a pilot or something? My thing is that if these people genuinely had stats to prove that these diversity hires in their mind, air quote diversity hires, actually were unqualified, it would be the biggest scandal in the entire country. It would be the largest issue in the country, period. Like, if that were true, these people, and this is how you know when conservatives are lying to you, okay? Because if a conservative has the stats to back up what they're saying, they will beat you over the head with it. If they even have a semblance of the stats to be able to give it to you, they will beat you over the head with it. You will always hear it. They'll always say it. They'll have it memorized. They'll parrot it like crazy. They'll, you might as well call them Polly. We're gonna make a joke about, I'm on Twitch, I can't make a joke about Cracker, but anyways, I'm talking about the food item, okay? Call them Polly because they be parroting, all right? Constantly, yeah. Like, I mean, it's their, like, 1350 is their catchphrase, and the biggest thing is they even up that. It's not even true. 1350 isn't even real, right? But this is how you know they're lying to you, because there are no stats to back this up. They just feel like when a black person is in a position of power, it must be because a liberal let them have it and not because they got there. When a white person has a position of power, they simply believe that they got there under their own like merit and gumption and hard work, and they don't want to accept the idea that they had privilege to be able to get to that spot. They were like, oh yeah, sure, like your mom or dad paid for flight lessons, and then but like disadvantaged people having flight lessons is apparently bad. So if you're like a loser who relies on their parents to give them literally everything and can't work for anything and just barely get stuff done even when it's handed to them on a silver platter, but a poor person who has to work hard day in and day out and make far less mistakes to get like a percentage as far as like a guy who just was magically born to the right family is given the opportunity to be able to get even an ounce of the same amount of things that somebody who didn't have to work at all is, they find it as a huge scandal. Like, remember how they were like, I hate the idea of poor people getting opportunities. What the ever happened to the idea? Because these people are like, I hate it when they give just like random minorities or whatever, because in their mind, when they think of like diversity, equity, inclusion, they think people are just handed everything. But what actually is happening is that people are given the opportunity to succeed. There is no doctor that is unqualified when they get their MD, okay? There are many unqualified doctors. I would say a lot of them are white, not because they are white, but because they went to Harvard or whatever. They went to med school back when only like white people were allowed to get in, and they're so old now that they're way back on the times, and then they tell you to like eat some lead when you have like a headache or something, okay? Like they're really far back. I would say those people are unqualified, but most of those people are white, for one, so they may not accept that. It's just completely ridiculous to believe that minorities and women have to work less hard when it's very clearly stated after study and meta study and data and research that it's very clear that if you are a minority or a woman, you have to work harder on average than a white male to be able to get to where you are. So more likely than not, you are more qualified and overqualified to be in that position if you are of a minority background than if you are any other type of person. I'm not saying that white people are like bad at what they do or something. They're